Election results show New York voters got behind the Environmental Bond Act in a big way.
And it was the only statewide proposition on the ballot this year.
Currently, 67% of those who cast their ballots approved of the $4.2 billion in state borrowing to pay for major green projects. CBS 6's Brianna Supardi is learning more about how all that money is expected to be used.
This measure will help fund projects not only to help reduce the impacts of climate change, but also help communities adapt to the climate reality we're facing. And although $4.2 billion seems like a lot, state officials say that amount doesn't even come close to the tens of billions of dollars the state has spent on damages caused by storms over the last decade.
Making these investments now are critical.
New Yorkers have approved one of the largest environmental bond acts in state history. The only statewide proposition on the ballot, the Clean Water, Clean Air, Green Jobs Act, will bond $4.2 billion to invest in projects addressing climate change mitigation, flood risk reduction, open space, land conservation, and water quality improvement. Sean Mahar with the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation says that these projects are critical in protecting New York communities from the inevitable.
Sandy, you've got Ida, Lee, you name it. There have been many of storms really in the last decade that have impacted New York greatly. And when you look at the tens of billions of dollars in costs that it has inflicted upon New York communities, we know that these preventative measures are actually saving us money in the long run.
Peter Iwanowitz with Environmental Advocates New York says he's glad to see that voters recognize the threat we're facing.
Yeah, this is the first, big allotment of money in New York State to go to fight the climate crisis, and having the voters to support it really says that the public understands the climate crisis and wants government to do something about it. The climate is going to continue to get worse, and we're going to face more extreme storm events.
The Bond Act will authorize the state to issue general obligation debt for environmental purposes, which the state comptroller will issue. Mahar says the DEC is now working with other agencies on those projects.
Now that we have this mandate from the voters, we're going to get to work right away with our brothers and sister agencies to really map out that pathway forward for how we're going to spend this money. Now that we have this authorization.
Some of the projects include investing in zero-emission school buses, increasing energy efficiency in state and SUNY buildings, and making wastewater infrastructure repairs. There are many others too, and we have those posted on our website. Just visit cbs6albany.com.